Hello, everybody. Thought I would do a surprise live today. Needed to fix this. I thought was actually a statue. It's not a statue. It's well, it is a statue, but I guess it's made more out of a out of plastic. I thought this was more polystone or whatnot, but no, it's not. But it still broke and still shattered. This horn still broke. You can see a lot of the there's a little bend here in the hand. So this is actually going to be a little different than I expected. So you can see here that when this got, it actually got dropped on accident. It fell, I guess, out of the box, and you know, the horn broke off of old Balrog here. And now this is from. Let me make sure I get this right. It is from Weta Workshop, and it's called a mini epic. This is from Lord of the Rings. This is Balrog. This is a really cool statue. Just in case that's not picking it up over there, I'll yeah, look at that. It's pretty cool. He actually even still looks cool with his horn broke, but you know, we need to get him back in order. So this is for a really cool guy I work with. His name's Ethan. This is for his girlfriend Sam. Actually, she's a collector, and unfortunately, like I said, this one fell, broke, and so we're gonna fix this. This is actually gonna be a little easier than I expected. Like I said, I thought this was going to be like polystone or made out of the sculpted those harder statues, and it's not. So that's cool. But I will show you exactly how I would fix an actual statue. So yeah, these wings did not help it fly at all. Little tiny. You're right, Thomas. Very tiny. Okay, so what the biggest issue right now, and this can happen whether it's plastic or whatever it's made out of, and usually this won't happen when it's this kind of softer plastic, but you got a little piece here, a little shard that came off. Okay, and the first thing you want to do before you jump into this whole situation is first you want to make sure you know where every piece is going to go. Okay, luckily this piece fits right in here. This is where it's a very odd break. So it snapped off of the horn here, and then you can see this piece like shattered off. Now it does have a little bit of the sculpt that it takes with it. It's like these little scales right here. You can see those right there. So this took it. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna take this piece, and I'm going to use some Loctite professional liquid today. This is just the start. I don't suggest just gluing it. I mean, if you're happy with that, if you know you're never going to touch it again, gluing will probably work for you. But I want to go just a little bit further just to show you a couple extra steps that you can do to provide extra stability. And, if just in case, I don't know, it gets bumped or something like that, this might help it not break. And this is a common, I guess, technique whenever you actually get a statue. But a lot of times, what you'll find is they've got these wires, just little pieces of wire in them to basically stop that from happening. If it's going to get hit, or if it's at least this skeleton will keep it in place. And it's just a little. This is just a strong bendy wire. I mean, it's just a metal wire that has just a little bit of give if you put some pressure on it. And yeah, it doesn't have to be big. This one obviously is going to be a little easier, just because, like I said, it is made out of plastic, but still, it can still get knocked right off if somebody were to hit it. So we're going to go about it, like I said, the same way. I am going to lightly, lightly sand just a little bit, because if you are going to use adhesive, you want to make sure that it's going to adhere, it's going to stick to it. And you never know how certain plastics, like I'm not sure what kind of plastic this is. So whenever you're going to super glue anything, I'm going to just sand it just a little bit. And what that does is it kind of roughs up the plastic just a little bit and gives it some grit. You don't want to go crazy on this. If you do that, then nothing's going to fit, correctly. It's not going to fit as flush, excuse me. Let's see if we can get a hold of this guy here. Like I said, maybe once or twice over, just to make sure that it catches it. Just a little bit. There we go. All right. Cool. And so let's make sure we know exactly where this guy's going to go again. I bought something really cool the other day that my friend Anthony showed me. This guy right here. It's a vacuum cleaner on this side and it blows air on this side. So if you're tired of spending, $8, $7 a can on canned air, you can get you one of these on Amazon for like 18, 20 bucks. And it just comes on, turns off. It's very, very nice. Rechargeable through USB-C. So highly recommend that. It's already earned its keep around here, so I love that. Okay, so we know where this is going in now. This is the nice fit. I want to make sure that I also check the side here, that it's going to fit flush on the side, because this is the part that actually is going to be visible. But all right, so it's going to go here. I'm going to make sure I pick it up the same way and set it back in. I always like to double, triple check. Okay. If this is not clogged, I don't think it is. So what you want to do is, and this is when always gluing, always when you glue, you want to just kind of add a little bit like so. And so I'm not adding any more right now. All I'm doing is spreading around what is already in there. Because once you press down, it's going to spread, right? And you don't want it leaking out the side too much, if at all. It's just less cleanup, less mess. All right. It's a nice solid contact here. And let's take I always keep a paper towel handy. For those of you that know me, you know that. But any of this glue that might have seeped out around the edges, we're going to kind of wipe up. Okay. And the cool thing about this thing is that it is plastic, so you got a little bend to it. A lot of times, with a statue, it's going to fit the way it wants to fit. That's it. You can either sand it down. A lot of times, you have to go in and resculpt. And this, I don't think I'm going to have to resculpt, but because you can see. I mean, if you really look close, there's like a tiny seam. So if you want to go in, you can either you can even add like a little super glue on that, sand it down so it fills it in. You can hit it with some filler primer, some paint, or leave it as is. So that's just a suggestion. And we'll see what it looks like when we attach it. But I think this is going to look pretty good, especially since it's got all these notches in it, the bones and whatnot, those layers. So, all right. And I'm hoping that what's going to happen here is this stuff's going to dry quick enough. All right. What's up, Esteban? What's up, Thomas? What's up, Chrisman? What's up, guys? Thank you guys for showing up today. I know we're taking the day off tomorrow, but I wanted to make sure that I knocked this out for a friend of mine, because I've already had it for like 2 weeks, and I work with the guy, and I'm like, hey, I'll get this for you, and he has been very kind. So, okay, let's on this piece right here, what we can do is, oh man, Rocker Josh, what's up, dude? My man. So yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the exact same thing on this side, while this is allowing this glue right here to dry. Okay, so we're gonna kind of go in and just kind of sand a little bit, not a lot, just a little. It's only got to connect, and I'd like for it to connect at least in the center. So we've got that, but more connection, the better the adherence. So let's put a little sanding here. Oh wait, I forgot now. I can actually do since I'm on oh, look at this. Do a fancy little logo on the top right there. And then I can do a little music. How about a little lo-fi? Ooh, there we go. Cut out some of that that awkward silence that we get sometimes. All right, let's get this. What's up, Nick? All right. We got to be very careful too. There's like a tiny little piece right here. That little flake. I want to see if we can catch that in here. Okay, so this is where it gets slightly complicated, not even that complicated, but this is where the more advanced technique comes in. So we're going to make sure that we have this lined up. We've already sanded it, so it is ready to be glued, but we're not going to glue it just yet. Let's make sure. All right, it's going to be curving up like so. All right, cool. So what we're going to do here, and this is the part that takes a little bit of, I mean, you're going to need to eyeball this one. But we're going to take a drill bit, and this one's, this is probably about a 0.7, maybe 0.8, maybe. And we are going to drill just a little bit in. Put it in the center. All right. You can see it just kind of pulled up some of that plastic there. All right, let's just double check right now after that one drill. We're gonna put my wire. Come on, man. I don't have any more of that wire, so I'm gonna really need to find that. Actually, you know, this is why I usually keep a stack of magnets around, not only for repairs, but also you can, let's see, where did the wire go? Did anybody see where that wire went? Anybody get the license plate of that wire? Where's that wire at? How are we doing on that wire? I'm gonna knock it on the ground. I need one of you eagle eyes to tell me where I put that wire that I literally just showed you all. This is why it's super funny that that this happens, because I keep these little trays now on here so I don't lose stuff. And yeah, here we are. Got it. Magnets. Yeah, magnets. Okay, so we drilled a hole in here. We're going to now take some pliers. These wire pliers are really good. They give you a good grip on them. And we're going to see where we drilled this hole here. We're going to insert this wire. Now, I know a lot of you are probably like, Bill, you only use screws. What are you doing? You said never use wires. It's not going to hold. Well, this is different. This is different. This is a statue, okay? Like, we're also going to be gluing this shut. That's why I never use pins for my repairs, because those have to articulate. They have to move. This is literally just to be a skeleton in here to hold this thing in place. So whenever it does, the glue cures and whatnot, it's not going to go anywhere. So this is where this guy's at right now. We're not going to attach this in just yet. What we're going to do is we're going to put our other piece on here. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of get an eyeball look as to where this is. I tried to stay in the center as much as I could. A little trick you can do sometimes is if you really want it to get, like, I don't know, because you'll be able to move this stuff around, which is cool about the wire. But if you want to get it dead on, like perfect, you can actually, let's see if I can see how far I want this. Put this in, and I'll show you a little trick. So we'll take our wire cutters here. We're not going to need to go in very far. This will probably work right about here, I'd say. Let's go about, I don't know, maybe a quarter of an inch. Okay. Set that down because we are going to use that again. Magnet caught it. Thanks. We're going to need to slide this guy in here, right? Like so. So what you can do, you can kind of press this on here. A lot of times what you can do is you can actually add a little dab of paint on the end and then press it, and it'll tell you where it needs to go. So I could see right here, there's a little notch. You probably are not going to be able to see that. You're just not going to be able to see it on the camera. But in person, I can see it. There's a little notch right here where I stabbed basically that in. And like I said, because this is softer plastic, it's pretty cool that we could do that. We're going to drill a hole in here. Be very careful. Don't go through and stick our finger, you know what I mean? What's up, Hankin? What's going on, man? All right. So now before we glue anything in, we're also going to test this piece, right? We're going to see if what we just did is going to work. And now see, it's slightly crooked. It's slightly crooked like that, and that's what we don't want, right? We don't want a crooked horn. So what we're going to do, we can take that wire and we can kind of move that wire to where we need that wire to be. Let's move it over here. I just want to make sure that this goes all the way in. I think another thing that's fighting me right now is I don't know if I drilled in far enough. Let's see if we can drill in a little further than this guy. There we go. Fill that out. And we go a little further. There we are. There you. Man, this magnet is super helpful. You can't see over this lip. There's a lip right here. It's plastic got a lip on it. All right. Let me make sure I'm putting this in the right way as well. Once again, it's super funny. It's like it just kind of gets confusing sometimes. All right. And then it bends up. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is where we want it to be. All right, so I can see like there's a, I need a better camera, I guess, but right there, you can see this piece is our kind of our magic part. That's how that's our guide. Whenever that goes seamless, we're gonna know that we're in business. Okay, so go back, grab our wire. Like I said, we do all this we're testing all this first. You know what I mean? We don't want to glue this in and all of a sudden it not work. Although you can stab it in fairly simple because it is this plastic. Oh, what's up, my man Wisman? Dude, I hope your family's doing well, Papa. Incredible. Michael Wisman, ladies and gentlemen. Legend. All right. Yes, sir. This is the Mini Epics Balrog. You are correct. Score 1 for Australia. Okay, so I'm sitting here and making sure that this is going to sit flush. And the cool thing is you can kind of bend that wire to wherever you need it to go. I think we got it pretty much where we want it. Just want to make sure that I've got it right. Sometimes you gotta kind of you gotta move it over a little bit, or if it's real, if it's slightly crooked, give it a little bend, and it will work with you, not against you. That's the whole point of this exercise here. But I also like to make sure that everything is in place before I go gluing anything. There's a part right here that just throws me off. Everything looks good, but there's a piece right here that's kind of hanging off the side, and I just want to make sure that it's supposed to be there before I go gluing this in. Okay, that looks good. Looks good. It looks like that might be where it took the biggest hit. Something right here is just kind of, the plastic looks like it's bent. That's what's throwing me off. Okay. I was wondering, I was like, everything seems to be fitting fine except for this one little spot. And it looks like because a piece of plastic kind of ripped right here. It must have ripped whenever it fell and bent a little bit backwards. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure before we go forward with anything, like I said. Okay, so here we go. Now that we've got all that figured out, you want to grab your wire piece, and you can use whatever, really. You can use liquid Loctite, which I think works really well on the plastic and whatnot, but for the metal piece here, I'm going to go ahead and go with my JB Super Weld. So we're going to keep it in the wire pliers. We're going to get a nice piece here on the end like that. What's going to happen is as we slide this in, it's going to not only connect in there, but it'll also probably pull up a little bit. You can see, I don't know if you can see that, but some of it's kind of coming off just a little bit. Okay. And so you kind of, if that happens, you do want to kind of act fast at this point. You could either try to dab all this stuff off if you wanted to, where it did seep out, or you're going to want to go ahead and move quick, because if you let that stuff cure, it is going to affect how this would fit. All right, so we're going to go back in here real quick. Want to make sure that it's fitting right where we want it to fit. It's looking pretty good. So make sure that it's going to fit exactly where I want it. And then we'll try over here on the big guy himself. And if this hooks in here, that hooks out like that. This is exactly what we're wanting. All right. So right now, we're going to need to actually let this sit a bit so that stuff can dry. Like, once again, I want to make sure. What the cool thing about this is, and I'm sitting here thinking about it while I'm doing this, is I bet you anything you could heat this up and press it in even further, because like I said, this is plastic. You can't do that normally with a statue. So technically you could even go, you know, a different route, I guess, with this if you wanted to. But and with JB Super Weld, like I said, this stuff takes a little longer to cure, but in my opinion, it's worth it. It's worth the wait. And so another little thing that you can do is you can take a like a pick or punch or something like that, or even a small flathead screwdriver like so. If you need to press in anything, or press any, like, if there's any like loose plastic, like that piece I was talking about is right here. We can kind of, this is also, you can kind of push that back in. This is another reason why I like JB Super Weld, is it gives you a little time to work. I mean, if you're in a super hurry, then this is, well, don't do the repair if you're in a super hurry anyways, but I'm gonna let that sit there. Just gonna let this kind of press that in there. While I'm doing this, actually, I'm wondering, I'm so curious. I want to see what happens if I heat it up. I just wonder if I can soften this plastic up a little bit, because I've never actually got to fix a plastic statue before. It's kind of cool. Let's see what happens here if we just kind of hit it with some heat. We'll heat it up. Let's see what's going on now. Oh yeah, it's like malleable now. It's got like a little more give. Oh wow. Wow, yeah. That's awesome. Huh. Dang. Looking at this thing, it doesn't look plastic. It's very impressive. So hats off to Weta Workshops. There we go. Look at that. You kind of see right here, this is where it like starts breaking, and I think what we would need on this is maybe, I don't know if it happened to break right on one of the seams, so it's barely noticeable. Right here you can kind of see a little spot, I think. So I'd like to make that as non-visible as possible. Another fun thing that you can do whenever you're like trying to press plastic back into plastic or whatnot, if you're trying to kind of get it to, I guess, form back, is you can use these pliers here. They don't have any, there's no grooves or teeth in them. They're flat. I think this is them. Yeah. I want to make sure I'm not going to show you the wrong ones. And kind of press on the sides like that, and so it'll press on one side and press the other side in. That way you're good to go. Okay. Cool. I keep messing with it, but I'm gonna leave it alone now. All right, so next. That's right, don't hurry the repair, because remember, as Chrisman just now said, the impossible just takes a little longer. I want to check the chat real fast while we let some of this glue dry. Oh my God, Michael, your son just turned 5. He's in school and doing great. Amazing. My man Rocker Josh is in the house. Says, I've been wondering, do people send you figures, toys that would be cheaper to replace because of an emotional connection or nostalgia? If so, versus like the percentage of those, what percentage of those are repairs? Yes, people do that. Yes, they definitely do that. I've gotten maybe, I would say probably, I don't know, man, maybe 5 or 6 of those, probably in my whole lifetime. There might be more than that, but there's a few that stand out in my head for sure. And yeah, and I'll tell them, I tell people if I think it's going to be too much, I'm like, hey, buy another one. And they're like, well, grandma bought this, or my girlfriend bought this or whatever. Usually it's like a grandma or relative or something bought it and they're no longer with us. So, when that comes down to it, I'm like, okay, which that doesn't put any pressure on people. I'm like, man, okay, I'll do what I can, and so far so good. Yeah. That little piece right there, I hate it. It's just throwing me off. It's this little thing right here. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm actually going to use some liquid. I'm going to put this right here so I can cover up this stupid piece that's just bothering me. It's the piece that bent, I guess, whenever this whole thing fell and broke. So if I push it back into place here, like I said, the liquid works really well on just plastic. I'm going to run it along the edges here because this is kind of a solid color. It's like a blackish purple, and I think I could match the paint. That's usually what I end up doing anyways, is I'll go in and I'll match the paint, and sometimes I have to resculpt over these as well. But okay, so that's what's going on. Every time I push down on this, I think this end's like kind of coming up on me as well. There we go. Push that in there. All right, cool. On to the second part, which is exactly like the first part. So you remember before, whenever we glued this in, right? So the reason I did that was, now this piece is in. Now we can actually form another guide, essentially. So we can insert another wire. All right. I'm gonna go through here. Once again, you don't have to go in that far. I go in about maybe a quarter, maybe a third of an inch. Okay, so get it right in the center. It's gonna go straight in like so. We're gonna make sure it looks like it's, well, I got it pretty much in the center there. All right, let's go ahead and take a piece of this. It's always a good idea to make sure it's straight when you're starting with it, the wire. I was trying to straighten this out before the stream right in here, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut it, because you bend these wires. As strong as this wire is, the more you bend it, the weaker it's gonna get. Okay, and as usual, I know I just clipped a little piece off, but just in case, so I can save this wire here, grab your plastic bag, cut it in there so you can save it. Dang, that piece started, man, That like flew into like was sticking out of the bag. A lot of good that did. I mean, it caught it. See, that could have flown out. Could have got somebody in the eye. Where did the other piece go? Oh, it's attached to the. There we go. Okay. So now we're gonna take this. I think what we can do is use our wires here. We're gonna try to see if I can let you guys see this. We're going in right here. Okay. All right. Got that guy in. And this one's being much more cooperative. It's a bigger piece. A lot easier. Hey, the Plunderlings are here. What a cool looking fig. It is. This is a statue, man. This is a what is it? Weta Workshop Mini Epics Balrog from Lord of the Rings. Really cool line, man. They've got just a super stylized look to them. I think these are really cool. Yeah, really neat. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and add our JB Super Weld since we already go. We've already drilled our holes. Make sure that's not gonna drip anywhere. Okay, insert. There we go. Cool. And might as well, while we're waiting here, let's go ahead and I'm gonna add a little more JB Super Weld here to the piece. And then I'm gonna go in from this side. I'm gonna add it on this. That way when we press it in, we're not trying to reach over ourselves here. All right, and so what we should happen is we'll find the hole we made here. And we'll slide on. Let's take a look on the other side. Pretty good. And now we let it sit and we let it wait. And that's it. That's how you repair a statue. God, could you imagine if I would have just did that and it broke? Oh, it hit it. It did hit it. Ha! It didn't fall off. Wow, that was funny. That must be how he falls over. He is a little top heavy on the front. But that is why we have the wire there. How about that? Yeah, you can still see it's like kind of wiggly right now because, well, it's JB Super Weld, so this stuff takes, like I said, little longer to cure. Yeah, that's it. So now we literally just wait for that to cure, and you're done. Now, I'm thinking in this situation, we probably could have used liquid Loctite or even the gel. Might have worked, but either way, all of these adhesives are good adhesives. Like I said, JB Super Weld, just over time, to me, it's stronger. It's going to last longer. Loctite is super great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're both fantastic. I use them both, so I'm not going to say I have a preference, but for, I don't know, for something that really needs to have a super strong hold, I've just found that, I don't know. I guess it depends on the plastic, depends on your material. You know what I mean? So there's that. But yeah, so that's basically how you would reattach anything to a statue. If you need to resculpt something, then you got to resculpt something. That's just kind of sometimes can be the unfortunate part, because especially if it's like a polystone made out of that, I mean, that stuff just chips away. I mean, it's just like, that's just how it works, because, you know, doesn't have that give or that bend like plastic does. So like, really unfortunate. That's why if like you've ever dropped a plate or something like that or glass, it just shattered. Well, that polystone isn't as bad as that, but that stuff can splinter out and it is nuts. But anyways, yeah, that's how you do it right there. Look at this big guy. Yeah, very cool. Just to give you an idea, I mean, I'm sure you saw like there's a measurement on here, but trying to find just a standard figure. Give you an idea of the size of this fella. Here's a standard Marvel Legend figure, and it's a pretty big guy. It's a big boy. So yeah. All right. I hope you guys learned something today. I hope we all know to keep Balrog not leaning forward because he will topple over. You gotta watch out for this guy. Thank you guys for joining in today. I know this is kind of a random stream, but I just wanted to do this, and I figured why I'm doing it. Maybe I could just show it off to you guys, and also let my friend tune in sometime, and so he can see it if he's not able to watch it today. If you are Ethan, Sam, thanks for letting me fix your statue. Thanks for putting your trust in me. Appreciate it. And I'll have this back to you, Ethan, on Monday. So thank you guys, as always. I do want to, well, before I say goodbye, which everybody generally leaves as somebody saying this, I do want to thank my my Patreon patron members. Donkey Kong down here. You can see him on the bottom. Well, I was like, thank you, Kurmaru patrons, and you have no idea what the link is for like the Patreon. But anyways, Esteban Barazza, my main man, Maximo Juarez, Jumpgate Customs, Creeper 13 Creations, Chrisman, Gurwall, Brian C. Williams, and Dave Wonder. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel and endeavors for future Toycanic stuff. That's why you see the streams these Sundays. That's why all that stuff. We're able to pay for this, what I'm doing right now, StreamYard. I mean, it's like $50 a month because I wanted the extra camera. That's why you can see this. Yeah. With 2 cameras at the same time. Then you got to pay $50 to do that. Thank you, StreamYard. It'd be cooler if you didn't have to do that. All right, guys. Thank you again so much. And, I hope you learned something. As always, take care of each other out there, and remember, the impossible just takes a little longer. Peace.
Bill Maru, Toycanic.